All right, everybody, welcome into part 2 of our 99 Unique Challenge for the Might and Mastery season. If you missed part 1, click the link at the top of the screen and you can check that out. But for those of you that saw the first part, let's jump right into part number 2. I've got a beautiful serene backdrop behind me, and I'm gonna try my best not to fall into the water back here because it says no swimming. There are snakes and alligators, so I'll do my best, everybody, but stay tuned to see if I actually fall in. We're gonna go ahead and play Morpeko in this game number 1 of our video. We have a Wailord in the back with the newly acquired Rollout, and we also have a Medicham with Dynamic Punch, which recently got buffed. Gonna go ahead and throw the Aura Wheel here into the Talonflame. Does pick up the first Protect Shield, and this Morpeko is running Seed Bomb. I have another video coming very soon, my veteran run with Shadow Pidgeot and Morpeko. Definitely subscribe if you wanna see that one. Gonna throw 2 more Thundershocks into the Dark type Aura Wheel. This will probably take that second shield away from the Talonflame, which it does, which is honestly really, really brilliant. Because at this point, I'm able to get off 2 more Thundershocks, weaken that Talonflame, and then bring in the Wailord. And look at this, Wailord getting off 2 of those rollouts does so much damage to the Talonflame. It is double super effective, so I would expect it to do a lot. My opponent actually goes to the double flies, which is a great call by me because I didn't want to take a Brave Bird, and I'm able to just shield once and then roll out down. Opponent comes in now with the Toxapex, and this is going to get a little bit tricky. This Wailord actually has access to Hyper Beam, so I'm able to land that into the Toxapex. I come in out with the Medicham, and the real Achilles heel here is that I don't have Psychic on this Medicham. I actually have Ice Punch and Dynamic Punch. If I had Psychic, I'd be in really, really good shape, but unfortunately, I don't have an easy way to deal damage to this Pokemon. The only super effective damage that I'm dealing is with that Psycho Cut, which is basically just doing like paper cuts worth of damage. I do get to the second Dynamic Punch on the Charge Type priority tie, which is really, really good for us, and this should be enough to KO the Toxapex, and it is. Opponent comes in now with the Diggersby, and we're able to get off 1 more Dynamic Punch. Although in order to win this battle, I think I need to catch, because that Diggersby is gonna get to 2 Fire Punches pretty soon. I go to the Wailord, opponent calls the swap, and they quick attack all the way down, which is a GG's from me. Unable to get enough energy to beat this Diggersby, and that's gonna be a loss here in our game number 1. But honestly, where else can you go where you get Wailord and Medicham with Dynamic Punch in the same video? So if you enjoyed part 1, let me know on this video. I appreciate all of your comments. I've been reading them all day long. Thank you so, so much. Gonna go to this battle number 2. We're gonna play Togedemaru, which is a Pokemon that did not get buffed, but behind it are 2 Pokemon that did. This is a Runerigus with the newly buffed Rock Tomb, and I have that Togetic with the newly buffed Psyshock. I think it's also running Dazzling Gleam if I'm not mistaken, but Rock Tomb lands into this Purified B-Barrel, and they do get another rollout through. Obviously, I do not want to take a Surf here, but I'm really gonna struggle against that Clodsire in the lead, so I gotta figure out a way to win this battle. A little bit of poor timing by me, but I wanted to make sure that I got this off. I think a mosquito is biting me. I want to make sure that I got off the Rock Tomb and debuff this B-Barrel a little bit further. I'm going to no-shield this move right here. Presumably the Surf, and it does do a lot of super effective damage, but after the 2 after the 2 Rock Tombs, it really doesn't do too much. Rollout connecting into the Togedemaru, not going to do much either. They throw the Hyper Fang, which in this situation, against a Steel type, you still want to throw the Surf. Hyper Fang is going to be resisted because it is normal type, whereas the Surf would have been at least neutral. Gonna go ahead and throw a Charge Attack here on the Togedemaru. It is the Fell Stinger. I don't expect this Clodsire to shield anything, but I was just, hoping for one. Gonna go ahead and throw the Wild Charge now. And now that I'm debuffed, I am gonna get Mudshot down really quickly, unable to get to the next Fell Stinger. So I didn't want to give the Clodsire too much farm, but this is a really uncomfortable position to be in. As you can tell, I'm ABA weak to the Clodsire, but I think I can catch a Stone Edge on the ground type, 2 Fairy Winds into the swap, and we catch a Sludge Bomb actually, which is really nice. And we also get to the Shadow Ball as well, so hold on. We might be able to turn the tides in this battle. Shadow Ball does get shielded up. Opponent trying to Mudshot down, they actually bail and they go into Mandibuzz. There might be a way. There might be a way here. I think what I have to do is land a Dazzling Gleam, Fairy Wind the Mandibuzz all the way down, and then build to double Psyshocks against that Clodsire. I think that's the only win condition here, but it's gonna be really tough because I don't know how much damage this does, but it is Stab. Togetic connects, and that is not nearly enough damage. The good news is that we still have a shield, so we might be able to shield up the 3rd Charge Attack from the Mandibuzz and try to build to the double Psyshocks. or we can actually throw now, hopefully get the KO, and then shield whatever that Clodsire has and just try to make the best of it. Psyshock, oh, it doesn't KO, but the Fairy Wind does, which is really nice. In comes the Clodsire. Oh man, we're gonna test this newly buffed Psyshock, all right? We're gonna find out right here, right now, if it's any good. First Psyshock gonna get fired off here by our Togetic, of course. It does connect. Oh, it actually does a lot of damage. And we're able to get the double Psyshocks there into the Clodsire and land the knockout, which is really, really nice. That match was looking super precarious. ABA weak to Clodsire, leading Togedemaru is normally a death sentence, but somehow we found our way out of it. Going to this next battle, let's see what we decided to bring. Again, trying to bring as many unique picks as I can, but there are a few that I did not bring. I think Shadow Kanto Weezing is one of them. But anyways, in this game, we've got our Dragalge with the newly buffed Sludge, or newly acquired Sludge, forgive me. And then we have the Golisopod. Golisopod just seems like good support for Dragalge, although I don't really have a strong Steel answer on this team outside of Poliwrath. We're gonna see the Azumarill come in here, and I'm just gonna go for these Stab Aqua Jets. I know that the both moves are resisted, but you know, I'm gonna go for the Aqua Jet because I think that does more damage. I'm almost positive it does more damage. Azumarill is gonna throw a charge attack here. This will be the Play Rough, which does take a lot of our health, but our switch timer is almost up, so I'm able to go back into the Dragalge. I know the Dragalge isn't gonna help me much against the Diggersby, so I'm fine sending it in against the Azumarill. Azumarill holds the energy though, which is actually very wise. And at this point, sorry, I saw a reflection. I thought there was a alligator behind me. At this point, I do feel like the Dragalge is kind of like dead weight on the team. I'm gonna go up for another Aqua Tail here into this Diggersby. And it does pull a shield, which is nice. My opponent is running quick attack, not mud shot, of course, so it is gonna be a little bit harder for them to actually fast attack down. Gonna go ahead and throw another Aqua Tail into the Diggersby. It does pick up the final shield. Combo play, Wombo combo into the Golisopod, and we are able to KO that Diggersby. Now I've got 2 shields and I deny the Drifblim its fast attack, so things are going our way right now. This is a shiny Halloween hat Drifblim, so I gotta respect the Riz here, but my gosh, this is a disgusting Shadow Claw conversion into the Aqua Jet, and that is going to be all she wrote. 3 Pokemon, 2 shields. No Pokemon were harmed in the making of this video, but that was a couple of unfortunate events for my opponent. First, the Astonish being denied, that was probably the biggest one. Next battle, we're gonna go with the little Vergiverg special. We've got a Hypno Double Dark team. This, I believe, is gonna be a Snarl Scrafty, but we've got a terrible lead in Morpeko, and then we have an awful swap with Wigglytuff into our Umbreon. So things are not looking up. This is actually looking really bad. Gonna fire 3 more Snarls and go for the last resort here into the Wigglytuff to try to chip it down. But I'm trying to envision my win conditions here, and this looks really, really tough. I spent a lot of TMs on Hypno before I started this battle, and there's one move. There's one move you'll see in the end that I really, really wish that I had, but I don't. And I did have it once, but I was like, I'll use another TM. I'll change it to something else. I'll never use that move, but you'll get what I'm saying in a moment. We try to go for the confusion down, but the opponent gets to 1 more charge attack, only 2 charms in the charge attack, so the damage doesn't apply from the confusion until afterwards. And now I'm gonna make the swap into Snarl Scrafty. Opponent goes in with the Talonflame. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Thunder Punch here. The Thunder Punch is a nice tech, and granted, I actually think the Snarl Scrafty is better against something like Talonflame than the counter Scrafty would have been. So this is super ironic, but still, there's no clear way to deal with Morpeko, and it's like, it's come in, dipped a little bit of energy, and gone out twice. So this Pokemon does have a charge attack. I'm fully confident in that. Gonna go for a Thunder Punch number 3 against this Talonflame, and I do pick up the shield. Scrafty is gonna go down here, and honestly, there's only 1 win condition, and I don't know if that even really counts. I'm gonna come in with the Hypno here. I need a big confusion down. Oh, and we're able to get it! And I have the energy, but I don't have the move. If I had Focus Blast right here, then this Morpeko would be gone. But instead, I just had the Shadow Ball, and Morpeko hangs on comfortably to win that battle. I wanted to PV Poke, and I saw that the Focus Blast does over 100% to Morpeko. So kicking myself there that I did not have that move. Next battle, we're gonna go with Mightyena, a pure dark type Pokemon, lead into that Shadow Sableye. This is a Sucker Punch Shadow Mightyena with Poison Fang, so it is really nasty, really vicious. I'm gonna absorb this foul play, no problem. Well, I say no problem, but that actually hurt quite a bit. Now I'm gonna go into my Grumpig, and honestly, kudos to the opponent for playing a shiny Bonsly in this battle. So Shadow Sableye and then shiny Bonsly, what a flex. I love this team so far. Actually, Rock Tomb user detected, and I actually haven't built this Bonsly, so maybe there are a few Pokemon that I missed. Anyway, Bonsly does land the, I land the Dynamic Punch into Bonsly, excuse me, and now the opponent comes back in with the Sable guy. Gonna go for the Shadow Ball here with my Shadow Grumpig, which I don't know if is that much better than the regular, probably a little bit worse, but anyway, we're trying to avoid getting farmed down, and we're able to switch out. We go back into the Mightyena, try to force away a shield from this Sableye, and we're able to do it. Crunch does pull the shield. I only have one shield left, and I know I can't paste another move in time, so I am going to let this Mightyena go. I have the Clefable. It's got Dazzling Gleam, I believe. Yes, it has Dazzling Gleam and Swift. So I even teamed away Moonblast on a Clefable for this video, you guys. Come on now. Dazzling Gleam does get shielded. Last Pokemon on the roster is going to be the Lapras. Every 6 Fairy Winds, this Lapras will get a Sparkling Aria. Ice Beam is a little bit more. And then the Skull Bash is more than that. I come in out with the Grumpig, and opponent actually throws when they could have gone for the farm down there. I did not have enough health to really maintain, but things are working out. Coming back with the Clefable. Opponent gets their Charge Attack though, so this is gonna get a little bit dicey. And also their switch timer is probably up pretty soon, so I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna throw it. Throw it immediately before they even have time to think about going for that Sableye. It does KO. In comes the Sable guy. Try to get to the move. Clefable with the Swift. And this is going to be resisted, but still enough to take down this Sable guy. Shadow Shiny Sable guy. Best buddy as well. And yes, I said Sable guy because it's just much funnier that way. Next game, let's see what we get. This is going to be Merkaloff. All right, Merkaloff, what do you got? I'm gonna play Dedenne because Discharge did get recently buffed. I do have Shiftry and Walrein in the back, so you could argue, you know, the slightly boosted foul play on the Shiftry, and then I've got Walrein, which doesn't really have a buff, but we're gonna play it anyway. This Pokemon is very, very difficult for my back line. It's honestly very difficult for my entire team. I'm gonna go to no shield here. It's the Rock Tomb. It does hurt quite a bit, but I'm able to Thundershock and then get to another attack against his Fortress. Discharge almost KOs. I come in with the Shiftry for a cheeky farm down, but I'm unable to get it. And now Shiftry's up 2 Snarls, but it's going to take a Rock Tomb for its troubles. And I'm down into the yellow. Opponent comes in with Feraligatr, and this honestly, this started like a 2-week love affair that I had with Shiftry. I was like, man, if I can just get this Pokemon in the right spot, it can do real serious work. In comes the Sableye. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Leaf Blade here. Could have thrown the Foul Play, but the Leaf Blade still takes a huge chunk out of that Sableye, and I'm gonna come in out with the Walrein. So obviously the Feraligatr is the main threat here. Sableye is gonna peel a shield away from us with the Power Gem, which we gotta respect. For 5, I don't go for the swap. I know this is just a foul play, so I do let this one through. I think I need to bait and then go for the Earthquake against that Feraligatr, or maybe I just YOLO the Earthquake. No, I'm gonna bait. And again, I get super lucky. I deny the Shadow Claw, which is good for us, terrible for the opponent. Opponent that calls it though, and actually no shields, which is crazy. And now they're gonna go for a charge attack. I'm trying to think if I could get to 2 discharges on Dedenne if I didn't have health for that, but I decide that I don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Icicle Spear here into the Feraligatr. I go Dedenne, I'm looking for a big Thundershock down, and we're able to get it at the last moment. So very, very nice for our Discharge Dedenne team. Very, very, very fun as well. That Shiftry love affair that I had, it only lasted like a week or 2. Like I said, it's just too flimsy. It doesn't really do what you need it to do, and it's so easily countered. It's very, very difficult to play. Next battle, we're gonna play a newly buffed Hex user in Shadow Alolan Marowak. We have our Ferrothorn in the lead, and then our third Pokemon is actually going to be the Shadow Pidgeot with Air Cutter. So I need to get rid of this Emolga as fast as I possibly can. Gonna fire the Shadow Bone, it does pick up the shield. That buffed Hex allows us to get to the second Shadow Bone, almost back to back here with our Shadow Alolan Marowak, and that one connects. Down goes Emolga, and I'm starting to see the tides are turning. Actually, opponent just top left, so I guess the tides turned really hard there. We were able to win that game, so very, very nice. Next battle, I'm gonna play Farfetch'd. This Pokemon also has Air Cutter. I bet you forgot about that. Farfetch'd does have access to Leaf Blade, so this Quagsire is in trouble. Opponent realizes that they come in with the Toxapex. This Pokemon is not recently buffed. Shadow Marowak has been unchanged, but is still very, very, very good. It won EUIC a few weeks ago, so you gotta respect it. I'm gonna throw 3 more Mud Slaps and then go for the Bone Club here. I do have Shadow Lapras in the back with the newly acquired Psywave, which is gonna be really good. Bone Club does connect. In comes the Quay side. Quagsire is gonna go ahead and throw the Charge Attack though. I'm gonna let this one go. Be patient. I have that Farfetch'd after all. 1 Fury Cutter into the Leaf Blade. This will absolutely one-shot Quagsire if it goes through. And they shield. Next Pokemon comes in, it is the Skarmory, and this is a little bit tricky, right? It's got Steel Wing, it's dealing neutral damage to our Lapras because water resists steel, whereas ice is weak to it, so it is gonna just add up over time. Sky Attack does get shielded up there. Gonna go for 1 more Psywave into this Sparkling Aria versus the Skarmory and try to chip it down. There's a couple of people on a boat headed this way, so looks nice actually, looks very relaxing. Gonna go for another Sparkling Aria here against the Skarmory. This Pokemon is bulky, but the Sparkling Aria hits actually pretty hard, a lot harder than I thought. This third Charge Attack from the Lapras will knock out. Opponent lets it go because they have no shields. Coming out with a Farfetch'd and be able to throw this Leaf Blade. This will absolutely, like I said before, one-shot Quagsire. Excuse me, false advertising. It is not one-shot, but the opponent top lefts at the very end, so. That was a really nice set though. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the next game. We're gonna play Greninja with a Shadow Jumpluff and then a buffed Hex Frostlass. So first off the bat, incredible lead. It is gonna be the Galarian Corsola, which is very, very nice for us. Opponent swaps into Diggersby. I don't know what to do here, so I kind of just go Frostlass. In hindsight, this is probably not the best decision to make, but Fire Punch does hurt. Let's see if Frostlass can close the gap here. Hex did get a significant buff in terms of energy and damage, so it is a lot more relevant. However, my Hexes are double resisted versus this Diggersby. This is one of the only situations where I kind of wish that I still had the Powdered Snow. Fire Punch does get shielded up there. I'm gonna go after 2 more Hexes. I'm gonna reach the Avalanche, which is going to pull that shield from the Diggersby. But still, I realize I'm gonna get outpaced and I can't win this matchup head to head, so I'm forced to let this Frostlass go. Coming out with the Greninja, I'm gonna throw 1 single Water Shuriken and then go for the Night Slash to pick up the knockout here and see what their third Pokemon is. It is, oh, actually, hold on. It's gonna be Clodsire. So I do think there's still a lot of play for us here. Gonna go for the Night Slash. Does the Clodsire shield? No. Oh, but I get the boost. Oh man, I probably could have Night Slashed again here because the opponent needs to respect the damages coming through, but I throw the Hydro Cannon. And now I am able to get 2 Water Shurikens in. Opposing Clodsire, gonna throw the Charge Attack. I think that I can swap here and I give up my boost, but I go into my Acrobatics, Jumpluff. Opponent stays in, they want the Sludge Bomb really bad. Now I'm anticipating this swap into that Corsola, but it doesn't come. So I'm able to throw 3 more Fairy Winds and then the Acrobatics. This does a lot more damage than Clodsire thinks. Bam, it almost knocks out. And I'm able to basically leave that Clodsire on 1 HP. The only question is, if you've been counting, you know, does that Clodsire have a move? Let's find out. Acrobatics does connect. It's gonna be tough, but I think my opponent can actually Astonish all the way down. And now I'm in serious, serious trouble. I think I just lost this game because the Power Gem is queued. Bam! That lands into Greninja. And what looked like a fabulous lead, a great position to be in, turned into an utter disaster in the end. So very nicely done by my opponent. The Galarian Corsola, Clodsire core, very, very strong. We're gonna play some Venomoth here. This is a Shadow Psywave Venomoth. I don't want to take super effective Psywaves on my Poison type Venomoth, so I swap into the Galarian Moltres. Now this Pokemon did not receive any buffs, but it's still just really, really solid. Opponent comes in with Blastoise, and this is gonna be really tough because I allowed the rollout through. I threw, I think, 6 Sucker Punches after the swap, but Ancient Power does pick up the shield, and because I let the extra rollout through, I'm forced to settle for 2 Ancient Powers. Does my opponent shield them both though? And they do not. They only shield the first one. I'm gonna take super effective rollout damage on my Bug here, which is really bad. I think my opponent probably has the double Hydro Cannons now, so I'm gonna let the first one through. Oh, Venomoth does hang on, but I get a rollout down before I can Psywave through. Now I'm gonna come in with the Dusclops. This is my last hope, my last chance to win this game. This Sempasuchio Crown Dusclops does get the double Hex down of the Blastoise. I know there's a Lapras. What's your third? It's obviously not a dark type, because if it was, they would have already brought it in. And I do have Poultrygeist on this Dusclops, so let's see if this goes through. Opponent does throw a charge attack first though. I'm gonna no shield, just to psychologically encourage them to no shield as well. Let's see if it works. Let's see if I can Professor X this right here. Poultrygeist coming through. Boom! And it lands to the Lapras. Their final Pokemon is the Grumpig. And unfortunately, I don't think there's a win condition here, because Grumpig does pace incredibly fast to its charge attacks, and even a double resisted dynamic punch is enough to KO me at this point. So I go 2 more hexes, I go Ice Punch. I need another Poultrygeist to KO this Pokemon, and I'm just not gonna get there. So there was a little bit of a flash in the pan there, a little bit of Dusclops taking on Lapras. That was really cool, but unable to win that battle in the end. So Dusclops was pretty popular at the first regional for the Might Mastery season. I believe it was Vancouver, but I don't know if I see the merit. We're gonna play a little bit of Primeape action here, and the nuance is that we're actually gonna play Galarian Weezing with the newly buffed Sludge as our second Pokemon. And then we've got Ninetales that actually has Psyshock as our third. So again, trying to play all the buffed Pokemon here. Finally, somehow I get good timing on the swap. Maybe I'm actually improving. Brutal Swing does connect into that Gastrodon, but I've had a really tough lead and a really tough swap, so this game looks very difficult to win. Brutal Swing does connect, and the Gastrodon just continues farming. It allows me to get to a third Brutal Swing. This tells me they want to build up to the Body Slam, put me within Body Slam range. Actually, it's a simultaneous KO. I thought that they were cooking there, but it turned out they weren't. Gonna wait at the switch timer, see what comes in. I don't know what comes in. It's actually the Dragonite, and now my Fire Spin Kanto Ninetales is lined up against the Dragonite. I do not want to take a Dragon Claw at this point, so I do go ahead and shield. I do have the Weather Ball. Opponent gets to a second Dragon Claw. I'm gonna be forced to shield this one as well. So typically with Dragonite, you do see poison types like Toxapex. I think that might be what's in the back, and if you do, it's really tough being in the situation that I'm in right now. And it is, Dragonite Toxapex is a very, very popular core. Honestly, I need to make a graphic and dedicate one to it, because I've seen it multiple times. Gonna go ahead and throw the Rage Fist now into this Toxapex and try to ramp up my attack, but as you can tell, it's too little too late. I think that was a Dragonfly. I'm gonna fire off the Psyshock here into the Toxapex. Let's see how much damage it does. Oh, they shielded actually. No fun. And they're gonna throw the Brine. So yeah, Primeape, Kanto Ninetales, no bueno versus a Toxapex Dragonite team. So GG's. Again, everybody, if you enjoyed this content, I know the views weren't that high on the first part of this series. Maybe at this point in the season, most people have figured out what they want to build, what they want to play, but if you're still watching and you enjoy it, please leave me a thumbs up. I appreciate you so much. We're gonna see a Shadow Dusknoir. I've got a Dash Bun and Lantern in the back. So looking at that, I've got a Charmer and a Water type. I do not want this Superior to get loose. So I'm gonna stay in here. I'm gonna throw the Shadow Ball. This is actually a Shadow Ball Dynamic Punch Shadow Dusknoir, because I didn't want to give up my my Elite TM Shadow Ball move. So double nuke. Opponent comes in with a Blastoise. They're gonna go, it looks like a yeah, it looks like a Skull Bash there. It makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna try to go for the Water Gun down. I know that this one is just gonna be the Hydro Cannon, but my Lantern is very, very low. Again, that time you wish you had Spark, but you obviously do not. I know my opponent's gonna come back in with the Superior, so I gotta decide what to do. I'm gonna throw the Surf. The Vine Whip does come through, which means the game is working correctly, but not the best news for us. Oh, I throw a Surf now? Oh my gosh, I really wish I would have clicked the Thunderbolt here. Does the opponent shield anyway? No, they do not. If I hit the Thunderbolt right there, that would be nasty, nasty work. I still think there's a win condition here, because this Feraligatr is only gonna get to one of these Hydro Cannons, which means I'm gonna be able to Charm down and throw Psychic Fang into their last Pokemon. So here comes the Superior getting another Vine Whip through. I'm gonna throw the Psychic Fangs into it. I'm gonna try to get to another one, but the Charms are doing most of the work. Opponent is closing in though on 2 Frenzy Plants, and I think that is my lose condition. First one does connect. Oh, Dashbun actually hangs on. It's bulkier than I thought. The Crescent Roll Puppy is actually very, very thick. And somehow I'm able to hold on and Charm all the way down. This team is really fun. Blossom has a special place in my heart because I did win the North America Continentals with it 5 years ago in the Sylph Arena, and we lead Shadow Blossom right into the Azumarill. Opponent swaps into the Abomasnow, and I go into Turtonator. What a beast, what a dog. Turtonator is the problem. That Blossom, if you're wondering why I'm playing it, it does have Dazzling Gleam, which recently got buffed, so I am pretty excited to play that. I think this is a big mistake here. I actually throw the Dragon Pulse. Fish just jumped. I actually throw the Dragon Pulse, which is double resisted, whereas the Flamethrower is only single resisted. Oh, he's jumping. Oh, Lottie, he's jumping. I should have thrown the Flamethrower because both moves are stab, but the Dragon Pulse is actually double resisted, whereas the Flamethrower is only single resisted. I'm gonna bank a Flamethrower, go into the Blossom. Let's see here. I'm gonna see how bulky it is. Ice Beam connects. All right, I think that's respectable. And you're able to get to those Leaf Blades so fast. This is a Bullet Seed Leaf Blade combination, which is blazing fast. And it does force the Charge Attack Priority tie. I know that I'm gonna outpace the next one, so my opponent's gonna be forced to switch here. They go now into their Shadow Kanto Marowak. This actually looks playable, right? I've got a Zapdos in the back. I take the final shield. I do get Mud Slap down though, which is not great. Not knowing the damage intervals, I think is gonna be the real difference maker here, because I don't know how much a Flamethrower is gonna do to this Marowak, but I do shield the Rock Slide correctly. And I'm gonna go and throw the Drill Peck into this Marowak now. I'm out of shields. I probably need to catch. I'm gonna go Turtonator, and I'm gonna throw the Flamethrower. This picks up the KO on the Shadow Kanto Marowak, but it means that I'm totally helpless to an Azumarill farm down, and they get 3 extra bubbles. I need Zapdos to hang on through an Ice Beam, but I'm looking at the health bar, and I don't think it can do it, and I don't think Drill Peck was enough, but I needed to try to throw the Drill Peck at least to give myself a chance. But either way, that was a GG's. Opponent played it really well, in spite of really awful, just terrible alignment. Blossom into Azumarill, Turtonator into Abomasnow. They still win. Honestly, a little bit embarrassing on my end. Next battle, we're gonna play Linoone. Linoone with Florges and Golurk in the back. So the Florges did get the newly acquired Trailblaze, which is definitely a really fun move, especially in the Master League. Don't let the haters lie to you. Florges is actually very good in Master League, especially in the age of the Curums. But right now, we're paired up against a Bastiodon. So, not the best lead, not a great swap, but I'm gonna see just how far I can push the flower here. Even though it looks like a straight up flower, the only grass type damage it does have is non-stab. Stone Edge is gonna get shielded up there. I'm gonna go for one more Trailblaze. This is actually my 3rd Trailblaze in this matchup. And at this point, Bastiodon is still refusing to shield, which is a really big deal. Gonna go for another Trailblaze here against Bastiodon. This one actually will knock out if my opponent allows it through. And they shield at the last moment. Interesting. Gonna go and let this Florges go. It's put in a ton of work for me. And I've got the Linoone, and then opponent switches into the Wigglytuff. So I'm playing the Golurk here because it does have the recently buffed Dynamic Punch. And the Wigglytuff is going to throw a Charge Attack here. So already this team is looking very fast attack oriented. Wigglytuff, Bastiodon. There's probably something gross like a Razor Leafer or a Charmer in the back. Or another Charmer, right? AVA Charm. So we're going to see what happens. Oh, it's actually a tie there on the Mud Slaps. My only chance now is to Shadow Claw this Bastiodon all the way down. And see if I can deal with what's in the back. But I actually, I decided to throw the Charge Attack here. Probably could have gone for the Swift, but it's debatable, right? Because it would not have done much damage. I think Swift might have been enough. Opponent comes in with the Mandibuzz though. This is really difficult. Not as, it's like, there's like a decline here, so. Not as rough as I thought it would be if it was like a Razor Leaf user or something like that, but still, Mandibuzz is very difficult to deal with. This team protects that Bastiodon really well because you have 2 anti-fighters in the Wigglytuff and the Mandibuzz. But if you ever come up against something that's a water type, I think this gets really tricky. Something like a Quagsire would be really tough for this team. But anyway, we're actually going to stall a little bit and throw as many Swifts as we can just to annoy the opponent. But that is a very good match. Next battle, everybody. We got Bronzong in the lead. If you know me, I got my stream win with Bronzong back in San Antonio over a year ago, but we're gonna play Bronzong, and this is not the meta for it, and this is why, because you have so many dark types in this meta, whether it's Malamar, Shadow Drapion, whatever it might be, Guzzlord, there's so many obstacles to playing this Pokemon. I'm gonna swap that Talonflame. I actually have 2 upgraded Pokemon on this team. I've got the Psyshock Bronzong and I've got the Foul Play Amoonguss. So both of these Pokemon did receive buffs in the Might and Mastery season. Fly does get shielded and I'm unable to get to a second one unless I shield as well. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to pressure this Malamar as much as possible. I actually yeet the Brave Bird here, which will KO if it connects, but it does not. Opposing Malamar is going to meet the Amoonguss now. I'm doing a lot of damage, but they're doing a lot of damage to me as well because these Psywaves are super effective versus my poison typing. Opponent does connect the Foul Play, and I'm starting to get really weak. I'm actually forced to shield here, and this match has really been a disaster from the beginning because this Malamar has basically soloed our team. And look at this. What am I telling you? Too many dark types in the meta to play a pure Psychic type. This is why I hate on Grumpig relentlessly, because it's just not got a good place in the meta. I don't even win CMP. This Bronzong is basically hopeless against the Shadow Drapion, and I know that my Amoonguss is not going to fare much better. I'm going to throw the Foul Play now into the Drapion to try to chip it down, try to weaken it a little bit. And it does basically nothing, so this is a really, really tough matchup to be in. Another Foul Play, why not? I just want my opponent to swap, show me their third Pokemon, give me a little consolation prize. And they actually do, and it is Grumpig, the Pokemon that I hate on relentlessly. And I think my screen wasn't working there, it wasn't letting me do more fast attacks, but whatever, it's fine. Next battle. I think we only have 1 or 2 left, so if you're still here with me, thank you so much, I appreciate you all. Let's get into this next game. I'm gonna bring back that Shadow Pidgeot with Air Cutter because he did not use it in the earlier battle, and actually have double Mud Slappers in the back. This is a Shadow Golurk, not to be confused with the regular Golurk we just used, and I've got the Claydol as well. It's funny because this is actually 2/3 of my veteran team, which is pretty funny. Opponent comes in with the Wigglytuff. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Rock Tomb into the Charm user here. And it does connect, which is really nice. Opponent gonna throw the Icy Wind here, and I guess I'll take some super effective damage, why not? I already debuffed them, so it's not gonna KO me. 2 more Mud Slaps, pick up the knockout against the Wigglytuff, and now in comes the Swampert. I'm gonna go for the Scorching Sands here. I know a lot of folks are running Ice Beam as a nice tech versus grasses, but I'm gonna stick with Stab Scorching Sands for right now. I'm gonna swap now into the Golurk. I know I gotta shield this. Hydro Cannon would hurt like hell on the Shadow Golurk, so I do use my first shield of the game. Opponent comes in with Clefable. All right, trying to think about how this is gonna go. This is a Swampert double fairy team, so it's a really good thing that Venusaur is not in the meta. It looks like our Shadow Punch did connect and our Mud Slaps are doing the rest of the work. Oh, I call it, I let it through, and it's just the Swift from the opponent, and now they look totally demoralized. Swampert doesn't even move because they top left out of this game. So very nicely done by us and our double Mud Slap team. That's a GG's. All right, everybody, final battle of the video. We've got a Magcargo. We've got a newly buffed Gourgeist. I almost forgot the name. Gourgeist. And our third Pokemon is going to be the Spiritomb. We've got a powerful, powerful lead. Opponent swaps into the Marowak. We go into the Gourgeist. Rock, Fire versus Fairy. Counter swap. Grass versus ground. So we're feeling really good now about our position. Rock Slide does connect. Does do a pretty good amount of damage. I'm gonna go for 2 more hexes and then the Seed Bomb against this Shadow Kanto Marowak. And it doesn't pick up the KO, which means we're gonna get hit with another attack. I cannot afford to give up Switch because I don't want Wiggles on the Spiritomb, so I'm forced to shield here. And now we get the KO with the hexes. Gonna go ahead and throw the Seed Bomb now into the Wigglytuff. Thought I heard a boat. Seed Bomb does connect into the Wigglytuff. Gonna go for a second Seed Bomb, which is super, super nice. A lot of chip damage. You could argue if we needed it or not because we had such a dominant lead, but we take the shield, which is really good. Back with the Magcargo, opponent swaps into the Gastrodon. This is where things are gonna get interesting because Gastrodon is gonna pace relatively quickly. I believe it's only 6 Mud Slaps into that Earth Power. Correct me if I'm wrong. Gonna throw the Rock Tomb to try and debuff it, and it looks like this might all be on the Magcargo. We're gonna find out. Gonna go ahead and shield here. Spiritomb still has some work to do. I need the Sucker Punch damage, and the opponent gets another charge attack here. This time it will be the Water Pulse, and I get 1 more Sucker Punch. Now it's up to Magcargo. I just need this Pokemon off the field as quickly as possible. I do throw the charge tag before the second mud type can register, so the Rock Tomb KOs, I don't take the damage. Now I need Magcargo to hang on through a Swift or an Icy Wind. Both moves are resisted. Come on, Magcargo, Swift. One more Incinerate. We get the Rock Tomb. This is the same type attack bonus, unlike many other Pokemon that you might play. This will be enough, and Wigglytuff goes down. So great lead for us, great swap, and we bring it all the way home. All right, everybody, that's part 2 of our 99 unique. I'm gonna sit down for about 2 hours and edit this whole thing and make sure that the timestamps are lined up. So if you enjoyed the content, please let me know down in the comments below. I've got another video with my Shadow Pidgeot coming very soon, so if you enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.